Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. It is the deadline stream for Game Week 10. I'm looking forward to this stream because it is Friday, obviously the end of the week, and yeah, I'm very excited because we don't normally get a Friday deadline, so it's nice to break it up a bit rather than the early stream. So yeah, how you doing, Jordan? How's your week been so far, obviously, and also you happy, obviously, weekend now?
Yeah, I'm very happy that it's the weekend. It's been a tiresome week, but now we can relax and watch, obviously Friday night football. I think it's nice to have a bit of Friday night football as we've had Monday, obviously Saturday. But yeah, it's exciting to see, obviously the football kick off earlier than the weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game week as well. Game week 10. It's an exciting one. There's managers that are wild carding. There's managers that are taking hits. There's a lot of things to talk about I think in this stream. So yeah, we're gonna all discuss it, break it down, and talk us through what we're doing with our teams. We've got Roman already in the chat who says hi lads. Hi
Hello,
to you, Roman. Hope you're doing well. Um, but yeah, this game week should be a fascinating one because, as I said, there's a lot of ways you can do it, and there's a lot of good options. There's managers that are selling good options to bring in other good options as well. So it is quite interesting in that sense. But I'm going to kick it off with my team. So in goal, I do have Areola. And then the back three, I think it maybe is quite popular, but it's Matty Cash, Gabriel, and Simicas lining up. And as you guys can see, actually, before I go on further, what I did last night, I actually done my transfers. So as you guys know, by the team selection video, I did have 2 free transfers, and I've gone early because Saka actually rose in price last night. So I think Saka was 8.5, but then now he's 8.6, and I didn't want to miss out on that price rise. So I have done my transfers early. I did them both last night before I went to bed. I took out trying to think. I took out Pedro Porro and I bought in Simicas, and that allowed me to move up Madison to Saka, and now I have 0.1 in the bank. So again, gone early, but I'm pretty happy with with my moves, and I was set on, I was set on those moves, so I was happy to do them early to catch the price rise. So Cash, Gabriel, Simicas, back 3, midfield 5. I've gone Saka, Diaby, Son, Neto, and Salah. And then up front, I've gone Watkins and Haaland. As you guys can see as well from the captain's armband, I have gone Salah captain. I believe I'm going to stay Salah captain. I don't really see me changing it. There is always that possibility I could switch it to Haaland or Son, etc. But I think I'm going to go with Salah. I don't know. Let me know who you guys are captaining as well in the chat. I'm sure we'll have a discussion on that as well.
Yeah, because a Liverpool game is an early fixture. I don't know about you, Huss. Do you think it's superstitious, the early fixture, not to back it, or has that not put you off of captaining Salah?
I mean, Liverpool play 2:00 on Sunday, so I'm not too worried in that sense. It's not really early for me. I mean, it's not 12:30 kickoff or anything, so I'm pretty happy to go with Salah captain. I'm pretty set on it, to be fair. I've not wavered too much. I've considered other captaincy options like a Son or a Haaland, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Salah against Forest at home. But just quickly coming onto the bench, it is Strakoshka, Burn, Archer, and Taylor, and that is my 11. So for those that are just joining, I have already done my moves early last night, and this is a comment actually from Roman that is why I kind of went early. So Roman says that Saka price rise killed me. I can't afford him without taking a hit. Yeah, I didn't want to be in the same boat, so I could have actually let Saka rise and still bought him in because I still have 0.1 in the bank. However, in the future, in the next week and the week after, I would be priced out with certain moves I wanted to make. So that's why I've done it early, because long term it would affect me in terms of my budget. So yeah, I've done it early, and I know a lot of people say you shouldn't do early transfers and stuff. And I do hear that because you never know. There's always an injury around the corner, or it's good to have info. But me personally, I like going early sometimes if it means in terms of team value, if it's going to benefit you. So I'm not completely against doing early transfers, but I do try avoid it if I can.
Yeah, in terms of Roman's situation, I think we can make an exception on going for price rises. Otherwise, like Roman said, you can't afford Saka now without taking a hit. So sometimes if going for price rises for players just before they go up could make the big difference between not getting a player in and obviously having to take more than a free transfer to bring a player in.
Mm. We also got George who says, "All right, boys, how are we? We're good, George. Hope you're well. Nice to see you here." Jordan, I'll let you take this comment from Ahmed. Mitoma and Bowen or Adingra and Saka?
Ooh, now I probably would go for Matoma and Bowen as the pick. I think because I think both long term have really nice fixtures. I know Arsenal do also have nice fixtures, even though they got Newcastle after this game week, but they do get more better fixtures after that. But I think long term, I do prefer Matoma and Bowen because I think down the line you will want Brighton assets as their fixtures do swing a lot.
Yeah, I mean this week.
Yeah, especially like this week, you'd want to kickstart with a Brighton asset early to get ahead of everyone else who hasn't bought one in.
Okay, interesting that you go for Mitoma and Bowen. I'm actually going to disagree. I'm going to go with Saka and Adingra. Now, ideal situation is probably Saka and Mitoma, but I'm assuming because of the budget, you can't do that. But I think Saka, I wouldn't say he's as good as Salah and Son, but I think next up, you probably want Saka in your draft. I think Arsenal have some nice fixtures. I'll just bring it up on the screen. You take a look at these games, Sheffield, Newcastle, Burnley, Brentford, Wolves, Luton as well in game week 15. And I think long term, Arsenal's fixtures are pretty nice. We know Saka's kind of the talisman as well for Arsenal. And for that reason, I'm a big fan of Saka in that sense for those midfielders, just behind Salah and Son. So yeah, I do think Saka is quite important to having the team. You could go Martinelli, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the one with Saka.
Yeah, I think I prefer Saka as well. He's on penalties too, so that gives even more perks to owning Saka.
Mhm. I mean, the Adingra shout is interesting because he's actually a player I'm looking at myself because I can't afford Matoma. If I want Bowen as well next week, I've actually looked at Adingra as a Brighton cover because he's only 5 million. He's an interesting player on that right hand side, especially with Solly March being injured. Adingra could be a nice little enabler at his price. So yeah, one to watch Adingra. I do like that move as well. Uh, what do you think of this though? In terms of Madison out for a hit to get Saka, is that worth it? Because I do want to touch on this because he is a popular player and he's on a lot of minds. This whole Madison Saka debate. I've done the move, but I've done it for free. I've done Madison for Saka free. Do you think it's worth it for a hit?
I think it's only worth it really if you captain Saka as well with taking the hit, because if you want to make sure it makes up for it, then captaining Saka is probably the way to go. I think if you're going to bring him in for a hit, because the fixture he has is perfect. Sheffield United at home, so you're going to see goals coming from Arsenal, and most likely one of them will be from Saka. But you would hope more than one goal, obviously as a captain pick. But yeah, I think it's only worth it the hit if you do captain Saka. But
Mm.
again, he is important to have it, I think, this game week. So maybe it is worth taking the hit regardless of captaining him.
Yeah, it's interesting because I personally don't think it's worth it, and I've bought Saka in. I think Madison against Crystal Palace is perfectly fine. If you could do it for free, then yeah, go for it. But I wouldn't personally do it for a hit, in my opinion. I just think Madison against Palace, who's just got a 9 pointer, there's no need to remove Madison, personally.
Yeah,
So for free,
it's
I'd do
true.
it.
Yeah, I agree. I think for free, I'll do the move, but for a hit, I'll be a bit skeptical about it because Madison's away form is great. It's better than his home form. So again, Crystal Palace away could be a nice fixture for Madison.
Mm. Did Kabore to Simicast this week, holding an injured Botman until he's back. I like that move. I think Simicast is perfectly fine to play this week. On the subject of Simicast, Pepin with a comment. Hi guys, start Gordon or Simicast. What's your opinion on this one? Gordon's got Wolves and Simicast, obviously Forest.
Yeah, for me, I'll probably play Gordon. I think there's more upside going for the attacking player for Newcastle, especially that have come off a 4-0 win over Crystal Palace, so they are looking good. It is an away fixture, so it is going to be a less, well, I'll say more harder, I think, for Newcastle because their away form is not so great. But I think I'll start Gordon over Simicast still, just because I prefer to play the attacking player.
Yeah, I'm quite similar. Usually I prefer to play the attacking player, so I'd probably go Gordon in this instance as well. If I had him, I'd probably play him. Is it okay to bench Alvarez, Jordan, for Gabriel?
I'm assuming that's Hoodie and Alvarez because there's more than one. But no, I don't think it's okay to bench Alvarez, even though he has Man United away, Manchester Derby. I still think he's a player that you would want to play in this game week. I wouldn't be benching Alvarez, especially for his price as well. I don't think I'll be wanting to bench a 7.1 million player, especially a forward like Julian Alvarez, unless I knew he was being benched or rested for that game. But other than that, no. At 34% ownership too, if he gets anything in that game, then it is hurtful to the ranks. So I think I'll start him rather than bench him, especially over Gabriel, even though he has Sheffield United.
Yeah, I wouldn't bench Alvarez. No chance. I think you've got to play him. If you've got him, he definitely can score against Man United. We've seen this season that Alvarez has been keeping up with Haaland pretty much in terms of goals and in terms of FPL as well. So no chance I'd be dropping Alvarez for that fixture, even though Gabriel has a nice one. But I'd try probably play both of them if you can. Play Gordon or Gabriel. It's a hard one. Again, I usually say play the attacker, don't I? But
yeah,
Gabriel's one of those fixtures that you think that's surely a banker clean sheet.
I'll say probably the question to look at is, do you see Gabriel outscoring Gordon? Because let's assume Gabriel gets a clean sheet. That's pretty much 6 points for him. But to beat that, Gordon will probably have to get an assist or even a goal to match it, or even outscore or outpoint Gabriel. So I think I'll still play Gordon.
Okay, interesting. I will take this one from George. Just hypothetically rank these four for the next few game weeks: Mitoma, Diaby, Neto, and Mbeumo. Good question. This is a question on a lot of people's mind as well. Ranking these cheap midfielders from around 6 to about 6.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to rank those four, number one, I would probably go with Mitoma. Number two, I'll go with Diaby. Can I just pull up Mbeumo's fixtures, Jordan? Yeah, if you can. Because I'm not a big fan of Mbeumo's fixtures, if I'm being honest. So I'd probably go with Mitoma, Diaby first. Mitoma first, Diaby second, Neto third, and then Mbeumo fourth. So it's pretty much the order you've wrote it down in. So yeah, that would be my order.
Yeah, that's the exact same order I was gonna say as well. Just from the 4 main fixtures, those four seem to be in there in the right place.
I do have Son and Porro from Spurs. And with my captaincy, it's currently on Watkins. Just got a feeling. Look, fair enough. I mean, Watkins, very nice fixture against Luton. So it could definitely be worth captaining. But going on to your team, Jordan, just read us out your 11.
Yep.
And what you're thinking as well in terms of the transfer plans.
So yeah, in goal we got Areola. The back three we got Udogie, Luka Dean, and Trippier. The midfield four we got Maddison and Son, Bowen and Mbeumo. And up front, the forwards Alvarez, Watkins, and Haaland. On the bench we've got Leno, Andreas, Taylor, and Branthwaite. So yeah, I do have one free transfer, and as I discussed in the team selection, I will be making a transfer, and that is probably taking out Mbeumo because he does have Chelsea away in his next fixture, and I feel like I've got his points out of him from that Burnley game. I think obviously getting that double haul of 14 points. So I don't see him getting much from Chelsea if Chelsea play the way they did against Arsenal, especially. So yeah, I think he'll be my transfer out this game week that I'll be making during this deadline stream.
Interesting. So obviously, what options have you considered for Mbomo? Because there's obviously a few midfielders you could go for. There's likes of Saka. There's Diaby. There's Matoma. Who have you got your eyes on for the Mbomo switch?
So yeah, for the Mbemo switch, I have had a little play around with midfielders I can afford to buy in that position. If I had to switch my tab, I could just show you who I've decided to go for. So take a Bremer out and select replacements. And I think I'm sticking to my guns and going for Saka to bring in for Mbemo. I just think the fixture is hard to ignore. I mean, Sheffield United at home is the best you're going to get, I think. And Arsenal having that fixture as well, I think you would probably want or need to have Saka in your team. Because if you look at his ownership, he's still relatively young, despite him missing that Man City game as well. So yeah, half of us still own Saka, and obviously he did have a price rise as you mentioned. So a lot of people are bringing him in for that fixture because we all have a good feeling that Saka is going to do well against Sheffield United.
Yeah, I mean, Mbomo for Saka makes sense, especially for free. I think for me, he is a bit of a no-brainer. Obviously, we've mentioned there's other midfielders as well. So yeah, I think it's a good move all in all. Bringing Saka in. We've got Ahmed as well with a comment. Kufal injury news and who's the best replacement around his price? Do you know anything in regards to Kufal?
Well, he did have muscle tightness, obviously, when he faced Olympiacos.
Olympiacos, yeah.
But I haven't heard much else about Sufal after that. Obviously, the update on his injury after that game. So
Yeah, he's currently flagged 75% chance of playing. Around 4.6. Again, I like Simicas. If you can't if you want someone replacement for him, I think Simicas at 4.5 million is a great option. Yeah, I'd go there. Maybe even an Arsenal defender if you can afford a Ben White, say, or a Gabriel. Gabriel's a 4.7 now, so he's another one that you can go for. Arsenal have a nice fixture against Sheffield as well this week. George says, really fancy Haaland this week against United. Can see a hat trick incoming. Wow. Do you see these? You say the same sentiment?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've seen the way Man United have played this season. It's been literally fortune and luck that the games they've won. And yeah, I haven't been convinced at all with Man United, especially with easy fixtures like Burnley, for example. That was a struggle, and with them facing Man City in terms of their form, they're not playing like they usually do, as well. To be fair, but again, this is Haaland against a United team that is struggling currently through the season, and you've got Johnny Evans, Reguilon, and Harry Maguire at the back for our defence, and possibly Varane. So, yeah, my chart odds are on literally Haaland, I think, this week against United.
I definitely think Haaland can score against United. We've seen it, previous last season, I should say, and the way Man United are playing, it does not fill me with confidence facing. It would not fill me with confidence if I was a Man United fan coming up against Man City. So, yeah, it could definitely happen. Don't rule it out because we know what Haaland's capable of. But there's a lot of captaincy questions coming in. Captain Watkins or Salah. Jenny also with a comment: would you captain Alvarez or Haaland? Who is the best captain this week, Jordan? Because there is a lot of candidates. Haaland's got Man United away. Watkins has Luton at home. Salah has Forest at home. Son has Palace away. Saka has Sheffield at home. There's 5 potential captain-worthy options. We don't normally get that in we don't normally get that, especially with last season. Haaland was perma captain pretty much. Out of those 5, if you had to rank them 1 to 5, or who do you think is the best captain option this week?
Yeah, it's hard to obviously say what one's the best, but in terms of ranking each one, I'll probably put Watkins first, Saka second, Salah third, and potentially Haaland fourth.
Would you captain Watkins though yourself? Because obviously I've seen you've got the captain's armband on
Oh,
Haaland, I
let me
believe, right?
switch.
Don't you?
Yeah, let me just switch back to it. I do have the captaincy on Haaland, and that is firmly fixed on there.
So do you not?
That,
What? So you just said Watkins. You think is the best captain option though this week?
I think for those who are looking to not captain Haaland, yeah, I think
Ah,
Watkins could be the best captain to go for. But in terms of me, I'm going to say
now I'm
Haaland.
asking you in terms of those fights. So including Haaland, who do you think
Oh,
is the top five?
oh, in that case, then I'll say Haaland first, Watkins second. No, sorry, Saka second, then Watkins third, and Son potentially fourth.
Salah fifth.
Yeah, Salah fifth.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm gonna go Salah first. For me, Salah is the best captaincy option. I'll come on to that. I mean, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Why you have Salah so low compared to likes of Watkins or so? What is that down to? I mean, I mean, you don't own Salah either. Is that more thinking you hope he doesn't return because Salah's come off the back of a couple double-digit hauls? What
Yeah, I
what
mean,
makes you what makes like a
yeah,
Son more attractive to captain over a Salah?
I think I'm pretty much going on what I saw last game week. Even though Salah scored obviously twice, the way Liverpool played, it slightly was a bit iffy, and it was very really unsure whether Salah was going to get anything from the game. Obviously, he did get the penalty and scoring from open play, but it came really late in that game, literally in the last dire minutes. So I am looking at that if Liverpool play like that against Nottingham Forest, and potentially Salah could maybe have one of those maybe blanks. Hard,
I
probably
think you're
not.
clutching at straws. Salah has not blanked a single game this season, apart from one where he was robbed of an assist.
Okay, not blank. Let me just say assist instead. Then I think he'll still get return, but most likely just an assist.
I mean, you don't have Salah, so it's brave
I
going
mean,
without Salah. I mean, you
yeah,
must, yeah. I mean, you must not feel you can kind of get away without it. But for me, coming on to that chat of the captaincy, for me, the reason why I have Salah as the top captaincy pick this week is probably because, again, as we saw, penalties is a massive thing for me. And because Salah can get a penalty, and if he scores that penalty, and then he's going to get a free bonus, most likely, then he's on for a 15 pointer. So if I had to rank it, coming back to that question from earlier, I think Salah's first, purely because the pens again is a big thing. Because one thing about Watkins, he's not on pens, whereas Douglas Luiz is the penalty taker, and that slightly takes a bit of an appeal away from Watkins, that he's not the penalty taker. Son, I like Son. I think we assume Son is on penalties, but again, that's not confirmed because Spurs haven't had a penalty this season. But we assume Son is a penalty taker. Saka as well, I believe he's on pens, but again, we've seen him give away one or two to Odegaard, which is another thing. But if I had to rank him, I'm going to go Salah top for me, captaincy. I'm going to go Haaland second still, because I still think Haaland he has that explosiveness against any team, and I still think he can punish managers to back against Haaland. Third, I'm going to go for Son, I think. Fourth, I'm going to go Watkins, and then fifth, I'm going to go Saka. I think Salah for me just tops it because of the penalties, 90 minutes as well. We saw Salah came on for the last, I think, 5 minutes, scored a lovely goal. But yeah, also 90 minutes with Watkins. I think Watkins played as well last night. I think he played nearly an hour or so. So I'm taking everything into consideration. That's where I'm going to go. But it's interesting you have Salah fifth, or I mean,
yeah.
Ali Mack with a comment. You're trolling us.
Again, Nottingham Forest playing against Nottingham Forest, whether you're home or away as well, is a weird team to play against as well. It's one of those teams that you don't know what the result can be and what you're going to get from that game. But it is at Anfield, and it is tough for teams to do well at Anfield because normally their record, Liverpool at home, is ridiculous. So yeah, I'll probably weigh out my depth going putting Salah fifth, but someone has to go last, and it's hard to pick from those 5 picks because they all have nice fixtures as well, and it's not like they've been off form either from Salah.
Yeah, it's interesting though. It's nice. So let us know, guys, in the chat though, what you guys think, because we want to know your thoughts as well. Who do you think is the best captaincy, or rank them from 1 to 5? Salah, Haaland, Son, Watkins, and Saka. Um, bench one though. Coming back to this question, Alvarez or Almiron? I think surely you got to go
Ooh,
bench Almiron.
yeah, it has to be Almiron, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean he's a nice differential, but I think I wouldn't want to bench Alvarez. I'm surprised this has come up a lot. This obviously
Yeah,
benching Alvarez, that's insane.
yeah. I'm not sure I'd want to bench Alvarez really. I think if you're doubting Alvarez, then you're probably better off just getting rid of him in total. But I wouldn't do that. I think Alvarez is again. I think Alvarez is a great pick. So I'm surprised that people are looking to potentially bench him. I think this is a question for you about you, doggy. Are you starting him despite the flag?
Yeah, I'm starting Udogi despite the flag because I got Taylor if Udogi doesn't play. He's got Bournemouth away, so it's not the greatest fixture and player to bring on to your team. But again, Bournemouth have struggled, so maybe there's a bit of fortune for a clean sheet there. It would be massive if there was, because Taylor is literally non-existently owned by FPL players. But I'm hoping that Udogi does start and he gets a clean sheet against Crystal Palace away, and hopefully plays enough minutes to get the clean sheet this time.
Jenny says start Thiago Silva or Van der Ven. I would be starting. I think I'll be starting Van der Ven. Um, looking at the fixtures, obviously Van der Ven plays Palace tonight. That is, and Chelsea play. Who do Chelsea play? Brentford. So I'd start Van der Ven. I think.
Yeah, I'll go the same.
Salah first, Watkins second in terms of captaincy, says Hamza. Haaland first, says George, with Salah, Watkins, Son, and Saka behind. Pranav with a comment. I'm confused. Bench Diaby or Darwin, says Pranav. I mean, Diaby's got Luton, which is a nice fixture. I do own Diaby myself. Darwin again was played brilliantly last night against Toulouse. Now, for those that didn't watch the game, Darwin scored a nice goal, left foot, a tight angle. However, he also missed a massive chance. He pretty much took on a player, dropped him on the floor, goes past the goalkeeper, a lovely bit of skill, and then he fluffs the shot. So, I mean, it's just kind of like Darwin, really. But if you've got both, I wouldn't want to bench either, personally, because I actually believe Darwin's going to start. What would you be doing?
It's a tough one because Diaby played really well last game week, even though he didn't get a return. Even though Darwin didn't start, he still managed to get a return of an assist. So yeah, I would be stuck in the mud with that one. I'll probably play both. I would have to find a way because it's hard to play one and bench the other, I think.
Yeah, I'd try fit both in. Bench Gabriel or Simicast, any defender you have that you think has got a nice fixture. I'd bench any defender. I'll play the 3-5-2 and bring both in, or a 3-4-3, because you can't bench either. I don't think if you own Darwin, there's so much upside with him this week. Darwin is a differential. Diaby is sort of a differential as well. I think Diaby is only owned by like 13% of managers, and you've got to play him against Luton, or what's the point having him really? Levi J, would you do Luis Diaz and Madison to Saka and Mitoma? Assuming that's for free.
Yeah, assuming that's for 2 free transfers, that looks like a good move going forward. Because yes, Saka, we've spoken about, great pick this week. Even Mitoma, a lot of people won't go for Brighton this week because obviously there's focusing on Arsenal and other such players that are bringing in. But Mitoma this week could be the underlooked player with the fixture he does have. So yeah, I think they're both great ones to bring in because obviously Mitoma has Fulham at home, strong fixture for Brighton that want to bounce back, especially not winning since game week 6.
Would I do that move? I would be tempted to keep Luis Diaz. I'm assuming you can't get to Madison to Saka straight, but I think Luis Diaz could be a nice differential. I don't know what his ownership's like, but Luis Diaz didn't play a single minute last night in the Europa League, and I just feel like he could be a very tasty differential when a lot of managers are looking at obviously Liverpool assets wise, Salah and Darwin even.
He's
Sorry.
9% owned, Luis Diaz.
So there you go, 9% owned. That could be a very nice differential, but yeah, I would keep Luis Diaz if I had him for one more week. But if you can't get to Saka, then yeah, I think Mitoma is also a good pick. Højlund to outscore Haaland this game week, says Hamza, and I'm obviously looking at his profile pick. He's a Man United fan, so
yeah, I'd like to see that.
I mean, you're not confident at all of your chances, obviously, on the weekend.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Højlund scores his first goal against Man City. It would be nice, I think. Nice boost, I think, for him, Højlund, because he had many chances to score. He's just been quite unfortunate not to get put any behind the net. So, what better team to do it not against Man City?
Yeah, look, I think Man United fans will be hoping Højlund does outscore Haaland, but I don't see it. When would you say start removing the Spurs triple up or double up? Maybe after this Palace game. Look, you could start removing them after this Palace game. The fixtures turn slightly, but however, we have to mention, Son is up there with, Haaland and Salah really in terms of how many points he's getting per match, which would worry me about removing him. Maddison, on the other hand, I think you could remove because if it enables you to bring in a Saka, then it could be worth it. But yeah, I think after this fixture against Palace, we take a look at their games. Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, Man City, Newcastle, West Ham. It is quite tough, and I wouldn't want triple Spurs personally for that run-in. So yeah, I agree. I'll start getting rid of them potentially after this Palace one. We had this question last week. Who's the one player you fear this game week that you don't have? Mine is Watkins, says Ali Mack. Same question to you, Jordan.
Yeah, I think this is easy, but yeah, it's going to be Salah because I don't have Salah in my team, and because he got Nottingham Forest at home, that is very scary, and I fear this game week for him.
Same question for me. I'm gonna go for, I don't know. It's out of Mitoma or Bowen, but I'm gonna go for Bowen. I think Bowen could do something good this week, but it's just a gut feeling.
I thought you might go for Trippier because you're not started any Newcastle.
Nah, I think for me it's the midfielders that I fear more. Bowen, I think, if I had to pick, or Mitoma, it's tight between Bowen and Mitoma for me. But yeah. Pranav says, I am slightly biased to DRB because Gakpo's back and it will affect Darwin owners. In regards to Gakpo, yeah, he's back. He did come on for like the last 20, 25 minutes. But obviously, as a Liverpool fan, from what I believe, obviously it's no info or anything, but I actually think Darwin is going to start matches now where he's going to be the main man up front. Well, I'm hoping anyway as a Liverpool fan, because for me, when I watch Liverpool play, we are much better with Darwin up front. And I just think, yeah, he'll miss one or two chances, but the amount of chances he creates for himself with the runs, I just think we're a much better team with Darwin in. And I think Klopp will realize this. I think Darwin has been a bit unlucky because there's been a couple games where Darwin has been benched straight after the international break, obviously flying from South America. He's had a couple niggles. So I think those benchings, for example, the game against Spurs, I think Darwin would have started against Spurs if obviously international break and the injury didn't happen. So I know Darwin hasn't started as many games as owners would have liked, but I think he's been a bit unlucky with the international break and injuries. And I think he will start getting starts now from this game week onwards. So we'll wait and see on that one. But I think Darwin has that potential to explode in certain games, maybe get you a haul. But yeah, I do like Darwin. And if in a couple of weeks, I wouldn't rule him out, for my own team. What other questions have we got? Whom to captain as well, says Pranav. Captain Salah or Watkins? Thinking if I captain Watkins, it'll be a great differential and risky, so it can boost my rank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could work out that way. Again, it depends on your rank and your risk appetite. How willing are you to be different? If you think Salah's going to score more, then I'd captain Salah. I wouldn't really care about trying to be different. Personally, I just try captain whoever I think is going to score more. So in my case, that would be Salah. But if you think Watkins is going to outscore Salah, then go Watkins.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I think a lot of us are hoping that Salah doesn't obviously get any massive haul, because I think he's the one out of all of the picks that can vastly affect the rank. I think because around last game week when obviously Salah scored 2 goals, I was down to like 600k red arrow and instantly. So he has a massive impact on rank, Salah, I think, compared to Saka, Watkins, and all these others, even though they're highly owned still. I just think Salah is one of those players that a lot of us have in different sort of rank categories, and he can affect you wherever you are, obviously, overall.
Coming onto your team then, do you want to start making your moves, or are you still thinking, or are you pretty set on bringing Saka in?
Yeah, I'm pretty set on bringing Saka in, so I might as well make the move now. Because if Udogie was fine, he would be the one I was going to be taken out instead. But honestly, because he's not, I've had to leave him in. But I also wanted Saka this week, so that ruled it out anyway. But yeah, let me just revert back. So I've got Mbeumo. I'm going to take Mbeumo out, and I'm going to bring Saka in to my team. Player and make the transfer. So yeah, Mbeumo out and Saka in for 1 free transfer. I'm going to confirm that. And there we go. Saka is in the squad. And yeah, that's pretty much my move's done.
Okay, nice one. Nice one. We've got Neil with a comment. Good luck this week, guys. Taking a couple of hits, but the game is just for fun. Wasn't sure about Udogie starting. Yeah, I think Udogie will start. I don't know if that's any info. I'm hoping we get some early team news because it is, Spurs do kick off in about 2 hours. So you'd like to think we get some news. But I did see one of the Spurs guys actually mention that Udogie is fine. So I forgot his name. I think it's Paul O'Keefe on Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he should be fine.
Yeah, because I don't think it was serious. It was just the muscle tightness that Udogie felt during the last game. So yeah, I think he was just taken off for precaution from obviously making it getting more serious.
Hamza says, which Brighton attacker out of Pedro and Ferguson is more likely to start? I probably think Pedro, but again, I'm not a fan of either one because I'm just not sure with De Zerbi and his rotation risk. I think Mitoma is the one I'd like to bring in because he's just more nailed, I believe. And I think I like Adingra as well. I know Adingra could get rotated out in certain moments, but I just would not want to go there with Pedro because I remember I had Pedro in my Game Week 1 squad and then he played. I think he scored a penalty. I think Game Week 2, Game Week 3, he was benched. So, yeah, I'm not going Pedro.
If I was taking a risky transfer to go for one of them, I do like Ferguson more, I think, because he seems to finish more chances than Pedro does. So
he just doesn't play though, does he, Ferguson?
No, he doesn't play, but when he does, he's quite electric in the Brighton attack. So yeah, it would be a risk going for him. But if he was to start, then I feel pretty good about it.
I mean, he did play. Start against Man City, 74 minutes. Ferguson had against Liverpool, he played an hour. Against Villa, he played 45 minutes. Against Bournemouth, he played 45 minutes. He's only had one game where he's completed 90 minutes, and that was in Game Week 3, Ferguson. So that does worry me with his minutes. So I would stay away. I think on the other hand, João Pedro, to just compare, João Pedro is kind of the same, where he doesn't really play 90 minutes. He's only completed 90 minutes. Well, looking at this, none. He's not done it before. The highest he's played in terms of minutes was against Liverpool in Game Week 8. He played 88 minutes. So again, I wouldn't go there personally. But yeah, they are. We know they've got the good fixtures. I'll try somehow bring in Mitoma. If not, and you go cheap, I think Adingra is where I'd be going. Who are you taking out, Jordan, out of these two, Diaz or Madison, to get Saka?
I'd probably take out Luis Diaz to get Saka in. I don't know. I just like. I'm assuming you have Son as well, but I like the double Spurs. I think still in the midfield. I think you can get rid of a defender if you have a triple up, but I do prefer to keep Madison. I think, especially when you have Crystal Palace away. I just think Madison's waveform is ridiculous, and even though Luis Diaz is a differential, like we've spoken about, 9% owned, it would be a nice rank gainer, but I still would side towards Madison still if I want to keep him and obviously take out Luis Diaz to get Saka in.
Comment here. Evening, guy. Should I do Mbuemo to Ansu Fati or Diaby? No, I'd keep Mbuemo. I think. No, actually, no, I wouldn't. Diaby, I'm not sure. I'll do it to Mitoma. See, I like Mitoma this week, so Mbuemo to Mitoma is where I'd be looking, David, personally, or rather than a Fatty.
Yeah, I'm too sure on either player there, but if I had to pick, I'd probably go Diaby.
Yeah, I mean, Diaby's got Luton. The only slight worry is Diaby hasn't looked as good as he has at the start of the season in the last game or so, but I'm just going to be patient with Diaby. If you've owned him, then I think you got to be patient and hopefully he delivers against Luton. Salah, Madison, Son, Bowen, Diaby, Alvarez, Watkins, Darwin. I must bench one. Wow. What an attack this is.
Well, I think I know which one I'm benching. That's Diaby, I think.
Ooh, against Luton.
Yeah, it has to be. I would not want to bench any other of those players.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for...
Because I think he's the cheapest as well, Diaby, out of those
yeah.
ones.
I'll probably have to go... I'm going to go Alvarez, man. She's mad.
Even though we said...
It's Alvarez or Darwin. It might be Darwin, depending on... Obviously, Darwin doesn't start every game. But I just think Darwin's going to start, especially after taking off after an hour. Klopp also has had some kind words to say about Darwin in the press conference and how impressed he's been with him. I just think Darwin's going to play and against Forest. So Alvarez does have Man United. If you've not got Haaland as well, though, I'm assuming he doesn't have Haaland and he's going to want some Man City cover for that game. So that is a very tough question. And this is exactly why I don't like having a strong bench, because headaches like this. So I'm going to go Alvarez begrudgingly, but I wouldn't want to be in your position, basically.
Yeah, that's a nightmare position.
Yeah, I mean, that's what going without Haaland could do for you, though, in terms of having that strength in depth. Should I bring in Alvarez for Isak since I can't bring in Watkins? Yeah. Again, we're just talking about potentially benching Alvarez. I think Alvarez is still a good pick, by the way, guys. I think for his price, where he's playing. What have you made of Alvarez, though? You've been surprised how well he's been doing. He's pretty much kept up with Haaland. So if you got rid of Haaland, it's paid off so far. So far, so good non-Haaland teams.
Well, what I'm surprised at is in the amount of minutes he's played this season, because we weren't expecting Alvarez to play the minutes he has done so far this season, because I think only the one in Game Week 8 when he was playing against Arsenal, he got taken off 6-7 minutes, and then in Game Week 6 against Nottingham Forest, he got taken off in 56 minutes. But apart from that, he's played 90-minute football so far this season. So yeah, I'm impressed by how many minutes he's played.
Pep Guardiola. So that De Bruyne injury helps, obviously.
Yeah, De Bruyne injury helps integrate Alvarez into the team, and yeah, Pep Guardiola is happily to play Alvarez and Haaland together, because last season we didn't really see them side by side, but because of De Bruyne being out injured, and I think Guardiola likes having Alvarez up with Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with Alvarez and know how well he's done. Obviously, he's kept up with Haaland pretty much. So for that half the price, it's definitely a good pick long term as well. Is Watkins or Saka the better captain? Another captain question. I can't remember what I said. I think I said Watkins. Did I say Watkins ahead of Saka? I can't remember. I went
Um,
Salah, Haaland, Son, Watkins, Saka. I think I did go. Yeah, I think Watkins probably is a better option than Saka. Uh, Luton at home. Sheffield at home is a great fixture too. Don't get me wrong. It's a tough one to split him. But
yeah,
what do you reckon?
I think the only thing that splits either one is the obviously penalty takers, because
Mm.
Huss spoke about that Douglas Luiz is penalty taker for Aston Villa, so Watkins is not a penalty. But Saka, on the other hand, he's supposedly the penalty taker for Arsenal if he doesn't give it away to another player in the team. But I think that's the only thing that really divides who's better. I think because if they can both score for open play, so it's hard to divide that. But I'll say penalty taker is the difference.
It's always hard to say who's a better pick or who's a better captaincy option because obviously things can happen in a game, red cards and whatnot. So it's hard to say. But I think Watkins for me, but Saka's on penalty, so it's a hard one. I'll probably go
Yeah,
Saka just because of the pens now. Thinking about it.
yeah. Because
Um,
if obviously Aston Villa get a penalty, Watkins won't be taking it, so you have to hope on Watkins scoring from open play. But Saka's got the best of both when he's on penalties and open play as well.
Calais Hostile with a comment. Morris to Darwin for a -4 and bench Bruno or start Bruno and no transfer and start Zinchenko or Colwell. Damn, you got Bruno still in your team.
I was going to say Morris is still on his team. That's quite a hold.
Is this wild card territory?
Yeah, there's a lot of players involved in that comment that I'm surprised you still have.
Morris, yeah, I mean that's double game week 7. Was it double game week 7?
I think
But
so.
yeah, I think minus Bruno, Morris, Zinchenko, and Colwell. I think you might want a wild card if you've still got it. You could wild card.
Yeah, I'm not set on starting Zinchenko either because he don't really play 90 minutes.
I mean, he probably will start though.
He'll probably start, but how many minutes you see him playing? That's only my concern because he does get taken off sometimes early.
Played 45 against Chelsea. Did play 75 against Man City. Played 68 against Bournemouth. Played 90 against Spurs. 80 against Everton. He seems all right. To be fair, you could probably get away playing Zinchenko and just hope he doesn't get subbed early. But yeah, I mean, that could be wildcard territory.
It is one of those fixtures where it could just be game over from literally the moment it starts. So there could be a lot of substitutions made in that game.
Rate the team, please. Areola, Cash, Trippier, Burns, Saka, Salah, Son, Diaby, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Watkins. What do you think of this team from Manib?
Well, it's another no Haaland team, and it's showing that it's doing really well so far with not having Haaland, and it has worked out beautifully. But yeah, I rate the team very highly. I think there's nothing really I would improve in terms of that. Maybe upgrade Ward-Prowse to Bowen, but apart from that, I'm liking every player in your team pretty much. You got double Newcastle defense, which is pretty good as well. So, yeah, I rate that team 9 out of 10.
I like it. I mean, I would probably take Ward-Prowse out. I think like for a Matoma or a Bowen or someone like that. I'd also probably like an Arsenal defender potentially in there. But yeah, it looks okay. It looks good. Sell Madison and Neto to Saka and Adingra. Yeah, I'd do that for free. If you can for free, I wouldn't. I don't see why not.
You're playing Neto, aren't you, against Newcastle? I mean, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, good. Yeah, good question on Neto. So I actually like my team this week. The only player that doesn't have a great fixture, I think, is Neto. He's the only one. But to remove Neto to someone like Adingra which I have thought about, it will take me -4, and I don't think I want to take a -4 to remove Neto, especially when Neto's next fixture, I think it's Sheffield away next week. So I'll probably keep Neto this week, play him against Newcastle, see how he does. I'm not expecting much, but yeah, he's the one that doesn't have the nice fixture in my team, but the rest of the team I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking. Actually, we'll take this question on Simicast. Do you think Klopp will regularly start Simicast, or will he continue with Trent, Konate, VVD trio? Since it would be hard to pick Simicast over other Arsenal defenders. No, I think Simicast will start regular games. Actually, I think Simicast is first choice, as we saw last night. I think Chambers, the youngster, played left back, so that shows to me that Simicast is being rested for the weekend game, and I think Simicast will get game time, guys. Especially Robertson. Obviously, we know he's injured. Liverpool have some decent fixtures coming up as well. So, yeah, for me, Simicast will start playing games. If he becomes an issue later down the line, you could always take him out. But yeah, we got to do the community draft. Actually, I just realized, don't we? Because
we have to see how that did.
Yeah, if you could pull that up. Just for those that are joining in, for those that haven't seen, I actually did my transfers last night. So I took Pedro Porro and Madison out, and I bought in Simicast and Saka. So those are my 2 free transfers. For those that aren't aware. I'm on Salah. I think Salah's on penalties. He's 90 minutes. He had a rest. Obviously came on for the last 10 minutes or so. But yeah, I'm going Salah. But obviously I think Jordan prefers Watkins for the Luton fixture.
Yeah, I think Watkins is currently, even though Salah's on fire as well, but I've liked the way Watkins plays up front with, obviously, alongside DRB. I think they're a great duo up front. And I think going forward in that Luton game, I can see Watkins continuing his score streak, maybe potentially getting more than 1 goal.
Yeah, I am quite happy. I mean, owning Diaby, because everyone has Watkins and Cash, or Watkins and Luka Dean, etc. I feel like Diaby is the one that could be a bit of a differential for me, because we are expecting a big score from Aston Villa. The way they're playing, we can see a 3-4-0 kind of game potentially, and I'm just praying Diaby is involved in this game. So, as an owner of Diaby, Porro or Anderson. I'm just seeing who Anderson has again. Palace or Spurs. Yeah, I'm playing Porro, I think.
Yeah, definitely Porro. I think there's more upside. Crystal Palace are struggling. But on the other hand, Spurs are currently unbeaten and looking pretty good.
Yeah, Porro's been getting forward as well. A couple of chances he had to score. Maybe unlucky not to score as a Porro owner. So I'd play Porro. Also, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please make sure you support this channel by hitting the like button. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you are subscribed as well. If you are new around here, if you're watching for the first time, make sure you also share the video as well if you can on your socials. It all helps out, guys, massively. We appreciate all your support, and the best way to help us is literally by hitting the like button. But yeah, we've got under about 8 minutes, 7 minutes before the deadline, so we should actually bring up the community draft, see how we did. 60 points. Not great.
Yeah, 60 points. It was a red arrow, so down to 2.5 million community draft. And there is some work to do because Akanji is red flagged and obviously got red card. So,
all right.
Yeah.
What's the boss team look like this week?
So if we go to obviously the pick team.
I think the team looks okay. You might want to take Sterling out. Gibbs White, you wouldn't want to play Gibbs White, I don't think. You probably play Ben White.
Yeah, definitely put Ben White in.
I'd actually take Akanji out as well and then play Pedro. João Pedro at a bit of a differential. Does this team have any free transfers though?
Let's check and say that. Where's the next page? Has 2. free transfers.
All right, guys, help us out. Community draft, so you guys can help us. You know, you can only bring in players with under 10% ownership. Yeah, so Pranav, the team is a differentials team, so we're only allowed to bring in. It's just a team we set up for a bit of fun, so we're only allowed players under 10% ownership, and that's why we had Trent in the team as captain. So, yeah, guys, let us know what you think of the Mad team. Obviously, these players were all bought in when they had less than 10% ownership. So, Son and Bowen obviously are now massively owned by most managers, but they were bought in a lot lower. Who would you think to bring in this week?
I'm gonna go on the shout of going for Nketiah, I think, and taking João Pedro out. Personally.
Oh, really? João Pedro? I thought he could be a nice differential. Wouldn't
He-
Nketiah start, you reckon?
I think so, in the absence of Jesus, because he's out injured again. So that pretty much automatically sets Nketiah to start, I would say, up front for Arsenal.
Akanji out for Dean, says Munir, but I'm not sure about Dean's ownership. Adingra, again, as one I mentioned, as a differential for Brighton. Yeah, let us know, guys. We'll wait. You got literally a minute or two before the deadline. Munib says, "What's happening with the rank?" Yeah, it's not great right now. 2.3 million. Just had a bit of a poor start. Hoping to bounce back. I was actually 5 million rank in game week 8. So I've jumped nearly 2.5 million since my wild card. So it's going all right so far on the wild card. I'm just hoping I can keep it up. Maybe break into that top 1 million first. Go from there. Simicast says Pranav. Is he under 10%? I think he is.
Simicast.
That's double Liverpool
Yes.
defense, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because we also have Trent, but he is under 10%, 6.4% owned.
Yeah, I mean, I like the attacking players as well. The attacking picks. Who else is it? I mean, Brighton. I would back Brighton. Douglas Luiz 8%. It's interesting. But again, yeah, you could go double. Who would you take out? Maybe a Gibbs White. What formation do you play as well?
Yeah, Gibbs White or Sterling if you don't think Chelsea can do anything against Brentford.
Maybe a Dingra. I just think you could be interested in a Dingra.
Okay. You also have 2 free transfers, so if you wanted to, you could use both.
Yeah, Neil says 3-minute countdown. Yeah, guys, 2 minutes now. Get those transfers locked in. I'm just going to check if I've done everything right, my bench order and whatnot. Captain Salah. I need Salah to deliver this week. Hopefully, it's another big week. Hopefully, I can get another green arrow. So yeah, yeah, it's going to be exciting watching the Friday night football as well against Spurs. Obviously, playing Palace. Wissa is 10%.
Yeah, Wissa.
I like the attack though. I think João Pedro probably will start, but obviously there's that risk he doesn't long term. But I think this game week he probably will play.
Okay, so yeah, it's coming close to the deadline, so we have to.
Yeah,
there's not really a majority pick in the chat because everyone's gone different.
Yeah, what we doing then? Maybe Akanji to Simicast and leave it.
Yeah.
You got to be quick. You got to go Captain Darwin, surely.
Captain Darwin.
Who are you benching though? Maybe. I mean,
not really any.
It's a tough one. Maybe Porro. Maybe.
Yeah, Porro.
It's 30. Just let you do it.
Yeah, let me do it.
Hold on. Fixtures. We got to do score predictions, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah, score predictions for this game week.
Yeah, game week 10 score predictions. We got to get that out the way. But just for those, that is the deadline. It is 6:30. That is the team currently on the screen that you see that I've gone with. Jordan's team. We'll pull it up later. We'll try
It's
to tweet.
currently.
Sorry.
That's right. I've got my team up there as well now.
Okay. So there you go. Jordan's team is here. But yeah, time for score predictions, Jordan, before we wrap it up, I guess. So I'm going to share my screen. There you go, guys. Hopefully you can see that clearly. We've got one fixture tonight. That is Spurs away to Crystal Palace. What's your score predictions for this game?
Yeah, Crystal Palace struggling. I see Spurs winning, keeping their undefeated record going. I'm going to go with 2-0 Spurs.
2-0 Spurs. I'm going to go for... Yeah, I'll go with the same scoreline. I'll go 2-0 Spurs. Maybe Son Madison to get on the score sheet. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'll go 2-0 Spurs. No, actually, I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs. I think it'll be a close game. I just think Selhurst Park, usually in an evening game as well, they do make it quite tough. And obviously the atmosphere is usually quite good as well. Moving on to Saturday's fixtures, we do have 4 of them. We've got Chelsea first up, early kickoff against Brentford at home.
Yeah, this one could be a bit of a iffy one. I'm going to go with a draw, I think. I'm going to put 1-1.
1-1, okay. I'm going to go for a... Yeah, I'll go 1-1 actually. I was going to go for a draw as well. So I'll back the 1-1 draw. I think Chelsea, they look good against Arsenal, but maybe this is another little bump in the road for them. So yeah, 1-1 Chelsea, Brentford. Next up, we've got Arsenal at home to Sheffield as well. How do you see this one going as our new Saka owners as well?
Yeah, this should be a high-scoring game for Arsenal and a comfortable one for them too. So I'm going to go with 3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0. I think it'll be quite comfortable for Arsenal. I see them having too much for Sheffield and being at home as well. I'd expect an easy win there for Arsenal as well. So yeah, maybe Saka to get a couple goals. That would be nice to reward us owners. Next up, we've got Bournemouth at home to Burnley. I'll kick this one off. I think this one could be I see a draw here. I'm going for 1-1 draw.
I was going to say I see a win for Burnley. I think Bournemouth are really struggling this season to get anything from a game, and I think Burnley can clutch 3 points, a very important 3 points from Bournemouth. So I'm going to go 1-0, yeah. 1-0 Burnley.
Nice. Next up, Wolves at home to Newcastle. When Newcastle have kind of picked up form recent weeks, I'm a Neto owner, so I'll be watching this game, see how he does. But I'm hoping there's no clean sheet for Newcastle because I need Neto to score. So I am going to go for a 2-1 win for Newcastle.
Yeah, I don't see Newcastle keeping a clean sheet either. So I'll go 3-1 Newcastle.
3-1 Newcastle. Get involved as all, guys, in the chat if you want to put your score predictions in. Pranav says Wolves Newcastle 3-3. Wow, a high scoring game then. Also, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you are still watching the stream. It helps support the channel. Next up on Sunday, we've got 5 fixtures Sunday. So again, a lot of games. First up, West Ham against Everton. Bowen v wherever Everton have. Everton coming off the back of that loss to Liverpool. How do you see this one going?
Well, I do see it going obviously West Ham's way. I mean, Everton have struggled so far this season to really do much or get an impact. So yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0 West Ham.
Surprisingly, Everton have actually created more XG than Man City, I believe. If correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat, but I saw that somewhere where Everton have actually created a lot of chances this season. The problem is been converting them, the chances. So Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game for sure, but I do think West Ham will win. I'll back a 1-0 win for West Ham in that one. Next up, we've got Aston Villa at home to Luton. I'm going to go bold and say 3-0 win for Aston Villa against Luton. The way Aston Villa are playing, the way Watkins, etc., are on form, I think it'll be a comfortable home win for Villa here.
Yeah, I'll go for even more high scoring prediction. I'm going to go with 5-0 Aston Villa. I don't see why they can't put 5 against Luton if they can put 4 against West Ham. So, yeah, I think it's even better fixture for Aston Villa at home.
Next up, Brighton at home to Fulham. Matoma potentially could be a nice game for him. Adingra is going to be one I'm going to keep an eye on. But yeah, I think Brighton will win. I think it'll be a comfortable win for Brighton. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Brighton win.
Yeah, I think Brighton will want to obviously bounce back from their tough run of fixtures. And I'm going to go for 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. Okay. Next up, Liverpool Forest. How do you see this one panning out?
Well, yeah, at Anfield, Liverpool. I can see a win for Liverpool here. I'm going to go with 3-1 Liverpool.
I think Liverpool will win. I'm going to go for 2-0 Liverpool win. Hopefully Salah can get a double or something like that. And that'll be nice. Obviously as a captain now. But yeah, I'll go 2-0 Liverpool. I think they'll probably keep a clean sheet. But Forest, they are a weird team as well. You know, they did just concede 2 goals to Luton as we've seen. So we don't know what we're going to get with Forest sometimes. Next up, probably the game of the weekend in terms of fixture, how big it is a Manchester derby. Man United at home to Man City. How do you see this one going? And yeah, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, when it comes to it now, I'm predicting this game. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, it's derby. Well, I think realistically, I see a Man City win. But I do think Man United will turn up more in this game. But I'll go for Man City win, and I'm going to go with 2-1 Man City, I think.
Okay. I'm going to go for a convincing win for Man City. But I don't think it will be a big score game. I think Man City will win 2-0, but they'll just, it will be like a stroll in the park potentially, where they just pass it around and they just win 2-0 and they take the foot off their gas and then they just waste, the rest of the game out and see it out. So I'll go 2-0 Man City away win. But yeah, that's the fixtures out the way for game week 10. Let us know your score predictions as well in the chat. And yeah, this has been the deadline stream for game week 10. We are going to wrap it up here because Spurs do kick off in an hour and a half ish. So we're going to go watch that, see how it goes. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone that has tuned in to this stream. Thank you guys for all your comments and everything, for engaging with the chat. It has been nice. We are back again on Sunday evening for the knee jerk stream for game week 11. So make sure you tune in Sunday 7 p.m. UK time for that. That should be a good one, reacting to all the madness hopefully from game week 10. But yeah, good luck to everyone. And we hope you guys enjoy the football, enjoy the weekend as well, with weekends here. And hopefully you guys get the green arrows you all want. And yeah, hopefully it's a positive game week. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game week for a lot of us. Hopefully you guys do well in your teams. Who obviously there's a lot of players that can do well this week with the fixtures. But yeah, take care, enjoy the weekend, and on top of that, enjoy the football. Until then, we'll see you Sunday to see how you guys done, and you get to see how we've done, obviously in our teams. But until then, take care and see you soon.